Get strong.
To go to Ireland to corner this guy, and my brother's like, heck yeah, and so he ended up like shaking Conor McGregor's hand.
Let's do M for Matt and A for Andrew.
Yeah.
And call it the Daily M&As.
Your family owns a gym.
Yes.
And I wanted to go more into that.
I prayed before coming here. I was like, man, I was like, whether one person watches this or 3 million people watch this, I pray that we just help at least one person.
Somebody.
All right, hey family, welcome back to the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is episode I think 15.
15?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we're all up to date now. We have another guest today. We're super freaking excited. This is our second guest ever.
Let's go.
Yeah, so you're number 2, pretty cool. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Shae, and I've been going to Impact Church for 4 years, and I just recently met them a few months ago.
Yeah, which is pretty freaking cool. Well, I think, my first impression of you was your energy.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to talk about that because I was every time I've met you 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
And I think every time I've met you, I think your energy has been incredible.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What's your secret behind that? What is that? Just who you are as a person?
Yeah, it might be genetics or whatever, but honestly, I've been around moody people before, and they're not a joy to be around. So I just try to make sure I smile to everybody. I like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I'm a big jokester, so. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. I like to smile and be positive, and like I said, just being around negative people just kind of ruin other people's mood as well. And so I like to uplift people.
I like that.
So.
Well, I always felt I was hyped after I met you and saw you each time, and I thought that was a really cool quality of yours because I think energy is a big thing.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got really good vibes from you.
Thank you, man.
So I think that was the first thing. What was your first thoughts about the gentleman?
About this gentleman? Right?
Yes.
I'll say he's very energetic. Would be number 1. He likes to talk a lot.
I do.
And
me too.
It's a good and a bad thing.
I think all three of us. Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very motivated as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I think before I met you, I am currently a volunteer with your sister.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so she went to camp, right, in California. Yeah. So I think that's where I kind of met her and got a little bit closer with her, and then she was like, "You never met my brother?" when we came back to Arizona, and I just did another podcast with Alicia, and she was like, you want to go on the podcast? I was like, I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah.
And then that same week, a few days later, Andrew walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, yo, I have a friend, whatever, do another podcast." I'm like, man, is this God telling me to be guest on everyone's podcast? So
yes, 100%.
It's super cool.
Wait, so camp, what was that about? Did y'all have to do it as a church?
Yeah, so it was youth camp. So
okay.
I recently started volunteering probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Awesome, man.
And
what age group?
6th to 12th grade.
Nice.
And my mom was telling me to get into volunteering. Volunteer, you need new friends, which I cut off. That's my testimony. I just cut off all my old friends, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, you need new friends. The church is gonna love you. Just do it." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. And then I finally did it, and I met so many people. And actually, Alicia is the one that kind of got me into being a youth leader, and that was for the church for a week. And I've never been to a camp before. And so it was very, very new to me, and honestly, being there for 1 week has made my relationship with God so much better.
That's
to be an
amazing.
example for the kids and to be an example for myself too.
That's amazing.
So,
I love
yeah,
that.
man, it was a blast.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. So you've been going to Impact for about 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to our regular scheduled programming. So anyways.
The Daily M&As.
Yeah, so quick, let's finish up about your topic with the youth, because I want to go to that a little bit more, and then also talk about the name of the new naming structure of the podcast that we all changed this last couple weeks. So anyways, okay. The youth, that's awesome. So I've been going to 2 churches right now. So Impact on Thursdays, and then I go to Turning Leaf Church, which is on the west side, over at Camelback in Litchfield.
Awesome.
Great church. Been going there about 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So Andrew was the one who introduced me and said, "I want you to come to the rallies on Thursday." So it was crazy. I said it before. In the 1 times period, I went to church 4 out of 8 days.
Dang.
So and that was the first time in my life. So I went on Sunday. Then I went on Tuesday for my church group. Then I went Thursday for your church group, and then back on Sunday for regular church for my church.
Yeah.
So and I was And I thought that was pretty incredible. I
Yeah.
felt like really good and like trying to get closer to God. And I think a big thing that I've noticed is it's more about the relationship with God than like actually going to church. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And the youth thing, at my church, we're super big into that because we're growing, because we just like got a new building going, like building it up. It was a bunch of money. They want to continue to expand into the younger kids. So they have the babies, and they have the youth group, and they have the young adult group, which
Right.
is super cool.
Yeah.
And I was involved in like the young adult because I got there when I was 18. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Hey,
from 18
man.
to 24, so 6 years.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So definitely, I think that's an awesome ministry for the kids because you know them early.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm a kid at heart. So
Oh, yeah.
I grew up doing jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And I've always been like a kid at heart. The older I've gotten, I still like hanging out with the younger kids because, and I'm not trying to be like that cool adult, but it's just like I like messing around with them and being a good example for them. But
Yeah.
I started coaching with my brother when I was 14 years old.
Really?
And I'm actually turning 24 next Friday.
Nice.
So almost 10 years. Yeah, 10 years of coaching. And man, I've always loved just being around kids. And so when my mom was telling me to volunteer, the first thing I thought was just working with the kids because I just love being around them and playing games with them. And I got to show them who's boss in basketball.
Hey, okay.
And any sport we play, pickleball, whatever, I gotta show them up. So
Yeah, I love that, man. Hey, that's awesome. And I think, and it's so cool because like bonding between sports, between God is a great thing for the kids,
For
and
sure.
really getting to them early, get those developmental years before they get out of high school, middle school, elementary school. It's just so vital. For their
Yeah.
development, and I think
Yeah.
it's so important to speak into their lives, pour into their lives, especially with God, because they got to create that relationship early.
for sure.
Yeah. So I think that was big. So, okay, guys, quick thing about the naming. This is kind of big news, breaking freaking news. You can go for it.
So, we're gathering ideas for this name. And I was like, we could do something with our names involved.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do M for Matt and A for Andrew.
Yeah.
And call it the Daily M&As because we talk about stuff daily. We talk about life, travel, anything related to
Health.
life,
Health. Yeah.
Yes.
Health. Yeah.
books, life. I
Yeah.
was saying life pretty much in general because it's our life.
Exactly. So I think it's a great name, and we changed because at first I was like the McCraw Show, but then I was like, well, that's not fair to Andrew because it's just my last name, right? So I was like, okay, we got to talk about it. Executive meeting between two of us, right? But anyways, so we were like, okay, what's the ideas? We start throwing some around, fishing them back and forth, and I was like, I had some, they're he had some, we're like, and then he said it. You know, it was like 2 weeks ago. He's like, well, let's do daily M&As. Daily M&As, and I was like, that flows, that gets us both in there, and I think I'm really happy with it.
Yeah,
So.
me too.
So that was the little story. There's not much of a story behind our naming of this podcast as we keep going. But yeah.
It's
so.
easy to remember too.
Yeah, right?
And it flows well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing, we want to get to the point where like we get like Spotify on, we get to Apple Music, we're already on YouTube, we're trying to like look at platforming, hosting forums and stuff, so got to keep growing. And then mics in the future too, so
Yeah.
they're coming, trust me,
It
don't
will
worry.
come soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully next year.
Yes, yeah, we're getting to the mics too, so yeah. So yeah, but anyways, okay, back to you. My next question is, now you were saying that you guys, your family owns a gym.
Yes.
And I wanted to go more into that because I go to the gym a lot, love me a good gym, and I wanted to know the backstory and upbringing of that and how that all started.
Oh man, I wish my brother was here because he knows way more. So we pretty much opened the gym for my brother. My brother started training when he was 4 years old.
Okay.
And he's always wanted to do jiu-jitsu and be in the UFC one day. And so my uncle and my dad watched the very, very first UFC when it came out, and they're like, what is this? Like, they saw like a triangle choke, and it just looks like, this to them in their eyes. And so we ended up finding a gym, and I was there for a little bit, called Megaton.
Okay.
And, I think we were there for a few years, and, my brother kind of grew up there for a little bit competing, and then we kind of laid off the gym. And then, all these other details happened that I don't really remember that my brother knows. But pretty much my dad wanted to open up the gym and just be like, hey man, like let's open up an MMA gym. We'll fly people out from Brazil, black belts that can help us kind of grow the gym. And
How did they make those connections? You don't know?
no,
Okay. That's okay.
I wish they did. I wish I did know. But pretty much, we did this for my brother, and we just wanted to make the gym cheaper than the other gym, so that way people can be like, oh, this has a cheaper price. Let's go to their gym and see what's up, because it's a new business. We got to grow it and stuff. So, but I was 8 years old. I just turned 8 years old when the gym opened. Yeah. And so my brother and a couple other black belts that were from Brazil were my coaches growing up, and now I'm a brown belt. So
look at you, dude, better than me. So also I think the other thing is, it's a jiu-jitsu gym specifically then?
It's an MMA gym.
MMA,
so mixed martial arts. So we have
awesome.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so the gi is like the uniform with the belt tied around. We have no gi, which is you're not wearing a gi.
Okay.
We have boxing and Muay Thai. So Muay Thai is like punches, kicks, knees, elbows. And then we have like an MMA team as well. So we have amateur fighters that train at our gym. We have pro fighters that train at our gym. And then we kind of cross-train with another gym in Scottsdale called Fight Ready.
Okay.
And Fight Ready is a pretty big, well-known gym in the UFC world. A lot of pro fighters train there. Some, if people visit Arizona, they're like, hey, I want to train at Fight Ready, or train at Siege and kind of whatever.
Have you seen Conor McGregor?
Have I seen him?
Yeah.
No, but my brother actually cornered a guy that was fighting in Ireland against one of Conor McGregor's teammates.
Wow.
And so, my coach ended up messaging my brother one morning and was like, hey, you down to go to Ireland to corner this guy? And my brother's like, heck yeah. And so he ended up like shaking Conor McGregor's hand at the venue.
What?
And
That's crazy.
yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, it was really cool. I have met a lot of UFC fighters though, and everyone is, that I've met so far is super cool.
Super
yeah.
cool. So that's what you, is that one of your big passions, you would say?
Yeah, I'd say growing up, I've kind of been all over the place with like different sports. Like
Okay.
I'm a natural, like not to like toot my horn, but
Yeah,
I'm
go for it, brother. Go for it. You got the, I know you're good.
I'm a natural athlete, so
Okay.
like anything I put my mind to, like that requires some athletic, whatever it's called,
Athletic ability.
athletic ability. I can learn it pretty quickly or whatever.
Yeah.
So I grew up playing soccer, so I would do like soccer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Or
it's
football. Let's go.
Football.
Messi's the GOAT.
Yes, yeah, Messi
Okay,
is
I'm
a baller.
glad.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Yep.
But I grew up doing soccer, so I would have like a season of playing soccer, and then a season of doing jiu-jitsu, and then a season of soccer and jiu-jitsu on the off season. And I competed a lot growing up, and then I just kind of noticed where, like, growing up, I kind of got burnt out of things really quickly.
Okay.
And so like I would spend so much time and effort into jiu-jitsu, and then I'm like, I miss soccer, and then I'll do soccer, and then I'm like, I miss jiu-jitsu. So it's kind of like a tug of war of like missing sports, because I'm always like a guy that wants to keep things fresh and like switch it up. And so it is a passion. I found out that when I started coaching, I have a way bigger passion than actual competing, because when I competed, I would always be super nervous and anxious and wouldn't want to eat anything and just have, I'd feel weak and all these things. But man, coaching, like I feel so much better coaching a kid and seeing them win because of what I put through with the kid than me putting in the work. And me kind of putting in the work is me spending time and energy and all these things into the kids. But I'd rather see a kid be super happy and see their whole family happy that they won because they trusted in me to coach them than me putting in the work and winning myself. I just enjoy seeing other people
I love
win.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like you're upbringing. Well, it goes back to the same thing with the youth. That you're upbringing them to see them grow and change and like help to become the best version of themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you, man.
And that's a great thing. I feel like that's a lot of coaching, and it's like leadership skills, communication, right? And then that's another big thing of the development of the person,
right?
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which shows like your heart.
Yeah.
And like,
thank you, man.
Yeah, like the service. You want to serve kids, help them get better, and see them win in the like the long term.
Yeah.
Really
no,
cool.
for sure. And same with like the kids that I'm leadering now at church.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like obviously everyone had their phase where they were lost with God and whatever, so like we could be like, hey bro, you need to do this, and these kids would be like, I don't care, like I don't need to do it. And then when they mature and get older, they'd be like, oh man, Shae was right, or Matt or Andrew, they were right, man, I should have whatever. And so I just try to be the best example to lead people into Christ, and I don't need to bash them when they do something. I just need to keep loving them, be like, hey bro, like just keep being an example and help them out when they need help. So
yeah, and I like that. I think a good example was like on Thursday we had our session and stuff, and the preacher said something really interesting that I think I've thought about sometimes, but like it really hit me, is when he said like the enemy is not the other person.
It's not against flesh and blood.
Yeah, which I think that was because like that, but then sometimes you get mad at people if they like in traffic or if they do something mean to you, whatever. So I think saying to yourself, like trying to just never like hate or get mad at other people to the point that it's unhealthy for you. Yeah, I think that was like a big, because I like try to do that, but then it's like really hammers it home. Like it's not about the other like human, the flesh, like you said, the flesh and blood is not our enemy. Mm-hmm. It's more of the devil, right? That's our enemy. But I think that was big because I think just loving people as hard as much as you can.
Yeah, I went to a trip about a month, maybe 2 months ago in Miami for just a young adult leader trip.
That's cool.
And
I've never been to Florida before.
Oh, dude, it was my first time. It was my first time.
Yeah, I've
it was
never
beautiful.
been to Florida. Okay.
But pretty much.
What part of Florida did you go to?
Miami.
Oh,
yeah.
That's my town.
Miami.
Went to the beach and went to church.
Nice. Some good food spots.
Oh, dude, I had the best. Do you guys know what spam musubi is?
Yes.
With egg.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this place. I forgot what it was called. I have it on my. Literally took a picture.
You took a picture of it? Yeah.
But they had like the best spam musubi with egg, and I ended up getting like ramen there as well. And it was like,
so
this
fire.
is only in Miami. Like if it was here, I'd be getting it every single day. But pretty much in Miami, like there was a lot of preaching towards us. So like in the morning, our young adult pastor, Pastor Darrison, he would preach to us, and then in the afternoon, we'd kind of do our activity. And then at night, would go to church. And then in the morning, sometimes there would be 2 sessions. It would be like 2 different sermons.
That's awesome.
And one thing that stuck to me was forgive first.
Wow, yeah.
Because when you forgive, it lets off, there's not as much weight on your shoulders. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you hold grudges or like whatever, and you're just around them, it just makes you feel like, I don't know. I can't explain it. Just the heavy weight feeling. And so... sometimes if someone does something to you, he was just saying like, hey, even before they apologize, even if they were wrong or whatever, or if you were wrong, just say, hey, I forgive you, I love you, that's it. And I think that really helped me out a lot. It was just like, no matter what someone does, if someone stabs me in the back, whatever, you can forgive, but obviously you can't forget. You can set boundaries and whatever, but it's like, hey, I think just that step of forgiving people will help you in the long run for sure with anything.
What's that quote that's like, don't like you poison yourself with hate? It's like you're trying to like the other person, you're trying to hurt them, but you're really just hurting yourself because the hate doesn't help. Like what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, like you should let go. You have to like let go, let God, right? And just be like, okay, like they did something bad, I have to forgive them. Mm-hmm. And I've had to go through that process like this year with people. It's like, okay, I forgive you, like I just gotta move on and like wish you well, because poisoning myself doesn't like hurt them,
right?
That's like kind of the gist of the quote. So I think that's a big thing.
I forgot what song it was. It might have been like a Justin Bieber song or something like that.
Justin Bieber.
But I think
good old Justin Bieber, yeah.
And I think it's like pretty much like if you don't forgive, like they're still in control type thing. Yeah. And it might have not been Justin Bieber. I might have been way off.
No,
I remember hearing that and I'm just like, man, it kind of stuck with me. Like just forgive, and even when it's hard, forgive and just move on with your life, because you can't live in that moment forever.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to have like hate in my heart towards anybody.
Exactly.
Like,
and Jesus doesn't.
Exactly.
And we're trying to be like Jesus, so it's like we gotta.
I like that, because it's like you forgive, you have to move on, and life keeps going. Time keeps going. So I think, and it's hard. It's harder said than done, right?
For sure.
Harder said than done, 100%. But I think that's a big thing in life that I try to work on. Obviously, in my spiritual walk and life in general is just making sure like I don't want to hate anybody.
Dude, even another one that's like super hard is in the Bible. It says pray for your enemies.
Yeah, which is hard.
And so it's like, man, like, God, did you not see what they did to me?
Yeah.
Like, what did I do to deserve this? And God still wants you to pray for, no matter what they did, pray for them. And so that's another thing that's like, man, like sometimes people will, trigger me, make me mad. But, I'll drive home and I'll just be like, hey, like, I pray that you watch over them and I pray that they'll get through this situation. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone has a bad day and they lash it out on other people that didn't do anything to them.
True.
And that's why I'm super happy, because even if I have a bad day or if I'm tired or like, whatever, it's like, bro, like I'm at church with my friends, like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Fact.
Like just they like you didn't hurt me. Like, so why am I like, get out of my face, bro? Like I don't want to deal with you. It's like nah, bro. Like just deal with it later. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with it later. I don't like when people bash other people for something that happened to them.
Yeah, I have a good example of that last week. A guy came in, and he was mad. We were trying to get him going with a situation, and he was mad. You could tell he was mad.
Yeah.
And he was taking it out on me. So I had to drive him back somewhere, right? I won't get too much into it, but I had to drive him back. And I was like, hey, like, what's going on? And he's like, well, I'm getting my patio redone and my pool redone. Mm-hmm. And the guys, like, broke all the material. It's going to be 2 weeks delayed. It's going to cost me $3,000. Mm-hmm. And then also my sister stole from me or something. It was some story about that too. His sister like stole something from his house that weekend or whatever. So he was really mad, and his car and his vehicle was broken. So he had all these different external 3 things, and he was taking it out on me. He was mad. He was short, and I was like I think I did a good job of handling it because I said, hey, like, tell me what's going on. Like, I know there's something going on. He told me these things, and I was like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I hope things get better. Like, I'm gonna get you to this place where I'm driving you to for business purposes, and I think I did a good job of handling it.
Yeah.
And not saying like that he was coming at me hard, and I said, "What's going on? Let me listen.
Yeah.
Let me see where his perspective is." And I said, "Okay, I have his perspective of these 3 things are going on in his life right now that suck. That's why he's externally promoting it to me, externally putting it on me because of those things." So I gave back love,
right,
and then he gave back love, right, and then we're like, all right, brother, like, I hope things get better, and we had a great conversation.
That's being a good example too, though.
Right? Like, I think that happens a lot in our lives, and I heard a thing, the low level things in life that, like, if you have a flat tire,
right,
or if you have a bender, or if you have somebody forgets to bring your food to you on time or whatever, like, I saw this thing, and I made a piece of content on it, which will come out soon. It was like a little chart that was like, the bad thing was in the middle, so like you go against it, and then you feel it, and then you enjoy the rest of your day. Which I thought that was kind of cool, because I made some content on that, because I thought that was smart and needed in the world. Because you hit it hits, you gotta feel it then, but don't feel it the rest of the day.
Right.
Feel it for like an hour, 30 minutes, and then you gotta move on and enjoy your day.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Because on the other side, it could be the best day ever.
For sure.
Because because that flat tire happened in the morning, you gotta do the flat tire, fix it, and then say, oh, that sucked. Let's be in there for 30 minutes, and then let's move on.
Yep.
Instead of taking it home to your kids, your family, your friends, church, whatever.
Or just having the whole day as a negative day.
Yeah. Because that's a waste of day, because you don't know
it's
how
a waste
many
of day.
days you
Exactly.
have left.
Right.
Like, yeah. And another quote that I heard that I thought was really cool. It was money related. It said if I gave you $1 million tomorrow, but you didn't wake up, like, would you take it?
Right.
And it's like, no, I wouldn't. So like that means just waking up is worth $1 million.
Right.
So it's like, you got to tell yourself, like, you have the opportunity every day. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the rain. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy church. Enjoy your job. Enjoy whatever you're pursuing. Enjoy your parents. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family, because you never know.
Even when it hurts, bro.
Yeah.
Put a smile on your face.
Yeah, and we've all been there. I mean, we've all had some dark days. Everybody in life has, and that's okay. I have. These two have. And things are gonna happen. Bad things are gonna happen, but you gotta enjoy it, and you have to get through it.
Be positive.
It's hard, yeah. And surround yourself. Never get people away from you. This is turning into like this is therapy.
Hey, we're preaching, bro.
Yeah.
I prayed before coming here. I was like, man, I was like, whether one person watches this or 3 million people watch this, I pray that we just help at least one person.
Somebody.
So that way, whatever. So it's like, if we gotta preach, we gotta preach, man.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so my next question, or do you want to throw a question in there before I throw my next question
I
in
could
there?
read one of your questions.
Huh?
I could read one of your questions. Too.
Yeah, go for it. It's the second one from the bottom.
I'm ready.
How did you start going to Impact?
Okay, let's do it.
We're back.
We're all on beat.
That was kind of cool because you went first.
Okay, so.
Alright.
How did you start going to Impact?
Your story.
Yeah, so I grew up going to a church called The Rock. So I grew up with a Christian family. My dad went to college to become a pastor. I was born in Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
2 months after I was born, we moved to Arizona only because my family wanted to start their own church. And I don't know exactly what happened, but obviously we don't have our own church now. So we went to a church called The Rock that I kind of grew up with for a few years. And obviously I was so young, I don't remember everything. But we were kind of close friends with the pastor and the pastor's wife, who would go there for. I remember being there for the Super Bowl when the Cardinals lost to the Steelers.
Oh, that was like 2009.
Yeah, it was like one of the worst days of my life.
Yeah.
I heard that the Steelers cheated, and I know that we got some Steelers fans that I
Deflategate Part 2.
Yeah. So anyways, stuff happened. I don't know exactly what happened, but we stopped going to church for a few years. And,
wow. Okay.
So my parents, I don't know if if you guys know this, but my parents got divorced twice.
No.
And so
of course,
the first time they got divorced, I was probably 10 or something years old, whatever, and then the second time was like 14.
Jeez.
And so I don't know when I started. So 4 years of Impact, so I was probably like 19 or 18 or something like that. When my mom wanted to start looking for new churches. And so we went to a few churches, and I'm not gonna lie, there's some weird churches out there, and I think everyone has their own church that however they want their church to be run as or whatever. Mm-hmm. I like loud, fun church. Some people don't like that. Mm-hmm. People like more traditional, dress up nice and sit, and I think it's kind of boring sometimes.
We all have our different style.
Yeah, everyone's got some different churches, you know what I'm saying? So, but we end up trying new churches, whatever, and then either the worship will be good, but the preaching is kind of or like super surface level, or the worship was like and the preaching was like all right. And so I end up finding Impact with my mom, because we're just kind of church hopping, trying to find our new church home. And obviously Impact worship, I mean, I'm wearing the shirt,
is incredible,
is the best worship
I've
ever
experienced.
They're just so talented, and not only are they talented, but just everybody on the worship team is just so genuine, and they're so nice. And shout out to Daniel. Daniel is a pretty big person on the worship team, and he has a really busy life, and we met in camp, and after camp he set some time away to get some lunch with me, and I barely even knew him. And it's just crazy how it's cool to see how busy he is, and he still set a time to grab some lunch with me for about an hour. So their worship was amazing. And then I remember Pastor Travis just going out there, and my attention span isn't the best. So sometimes people can talk to me for like 10 straight minutes, and like my mind would be thinking like, what am I doing next week, or like whatever. And I remember like Pastor Travis was really good at reeling in the audience, like by repeating the verses. And then not only that, but he was very funny as well. And so I like the humor, but I also liked how serious he was, and I liked how it was just kind of everything into one. It was like funny, serious, and just easy to listen to. Yeah. And then the worship was just amazing as well. So it's like after that first time, I was like, man, like I really liked it. I had a really good experience. And then my mom was like, okay, like I want to try another, a couple other churches. Do you want to come with? And I was like, no, like I'll just drive to Impact by myself if I need to. Okay. I'm sticking here at Impact. And so that's how I found Impact, was just kind of church hopping, and we ended up bumping into Impact. So,
do you live pretty close to Impact?
I live in Surprise. So I live 45 minutes away.
Farther than me.
So I drive to. I pretty much, like you said you go to church like 4 times a week. I literally drive to Scottsdale at least 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Jeez.
So my mileage be going up like. So
crazy. You live close to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I live like 15 minutes away from here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that because I live far from that church, because my church I live like 10 minutes from. And
gotcha.
The Impact I live far from.
Yeah.
But Impact's it's a fantastic church.
Yeah.
I've been probably 4 or 5 times now, and I love it.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, you guys are awesome, and I'm super grateful to be there.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. It's definitely changed my life, and like I said, I've been going there for 4 years, but I didn't start taking my faith seriously until about 1.5 years ago, and I think that's when God will take things out of your life to kind of get your focus on God, and just know that, hey, like Jesus is the only thing you need. So don't worry about the things that you lost. And I'm always thinking like, hey man, like someone else has it worse than I do.
Yeah.
At least I have my family. At least I have
friends.
Some, mutual friends. I literally cut off everybody out of my life.
Really?
And so I was like, yeah. So it was definitely a hard season. But man, like right when it was a hard season, that's when I started reading my Bible, and that's when I started taking my faith seriously. And that's when I seen a lot of change and growth and new friends that are Christ-like in my life, and it's definitely helped me out. So
my question again.
Yeah.
Were those friends bad influences on you, or toxic?
Kind of yes and no. Okay. So recently, Pastor Travis preached on stacking your team. Okay. And are these friends pushing you towards Jesus, or are they pulling you away from Jesus? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I was kind of in the middle. Okay. It definitely wasn't pushing me, but it also wasn't pulling me. Mm. I've always been I've always been doing a good job at leading by example. I've never been drunk in my life. I've never smoked in my life. And I was around friends that would get hammered and that would smoke. And so, like, I was that kind of DD friend. Like, hey, bro, Shae, come to this party. Can you take me home? And I'm like, I love hanging out with you, sure. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of, so my recent ex, I still, care for her. But it didn't work out. Yeah. And so, she didn't work out, and just, I kind of wanted to cut off everything else that associated with her and my other friends, because all my friends were close with her and she was close with them and all these things and everything. So once I kind of cut off everything, I wanted to cut off everything associated with it, just because I didn't want to say anything and then have it telephoned around and things getting back. And I think for me to move on, the easiest way was to just cut off all the things that's happened to me and just kind of start fresh with me growing in my faith. Mm-hmm. and meeting new people and new friends. And so, like, I used to have all my friends in Surprise. Now all my friends are in Scottsdale. So it's like, if everyone wants to hang out, like Tuesday nights I play volleyball. Sometimes we'll play pickleball and all these things. I'm always driving out to Scottsdale because that's where my other friends are.
Your friends are, yeah. Well, and how long did you guys date for?
So we were best friends for about 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was kind of chasing her.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay.
And I knew she liked me as well, but she wasn't ready for a relationship and all these things. And so I finally got her, and it just kind of, like I said, it just didn't work out. I wish it did, and I'm sure she wished it did too. But it's just, we didn't see eye to eye in a few things, and we we kind of argued, a lot. And I didn't expect, like, as friends and stuff, like, we were cool. We never got mad at each other. And then, when we started dating, it's like, it's not the same, So had to break things off.
I'm sorry, man.
No, dude.
I know, that's hard.
And honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at now without that experience. So I thank her, and I thank all my old friends for everything that they put me through.
That's awesome.
So
how old are you?
I'll be 24 next Friday, so I'm 23.
Okay, so I'm 24, so I didn't know. I was interested.
Yeah. 24, 24.
And I'll be 25 in December. So
let's go.
So day after Christmas. Which is
let's
cool.
go.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Okay, so what? So did you go? What do you do for work? I didn't know.
Yeah. So I'm a kids coach. Okay. So I teach kids jujitsu, and then
that's awesome.
I got my brown belt in April. So so I got it about in April 5 or 6 months ago. And so I think once you get your brown belt, you can start coaching adults.
That's cool.
And so I'm coaching the adult class Monday, Wednesday, Fridays in the morning.
Good for you.
And then I'm coaching the kids class Monday through Friday. And then I also do private lessons with kids as well.
Nice.
So that's my little side money maker.
Love that.
I coach kids from 5 years old to 10, 11 years old. And then I also run the front desk at my gym.
Nice.
And give people memberships, sell people whatever gear they need. And so everything's in my business.
So you work at the gym you guys own, right?
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Nice.
But one day I want to work at a church.
Really?
That's my goal.
That's cool.
Because I'm at church all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, might as well, pour my heart and everything into the kingdom and
I love that.
And work there.
Yeah.
So
maybe like a youth pastor or something.
Maybe.
I think
we'll see.
I think you'd be a good candidate for that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Energy, and then your just expansion into the future and the kids. I think you'd be a great youth pastor.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank
That's
you,
awesome, man. I love that.
Thank you.
Because I didn't know, and I wanted to ask.
Yeah. We'll see what God does for me, man. I'm just I talked to Pastor Darrison about my purpose and my future or whatever, and he goes, don't worry about it. He goes, focus on building God's kingdom, and God will do the rest. So
I love that.
So I'm just doing that. So I'm trusting his process.
Well,
I have another. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it. And I have another question. That's not on that list. Go for it.
What makes you happy?
Man, well, I'm happy to just be alive. I don't know. I feel like we take a lot of things for granted. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that God woke me up today. I just came from one of my family friends who got baptized this morning.
Nice.
And
I love
so
that.
I'm happy, I'm grateful for my family. I'm happy and blessed that even though my parents are divorced, our family is still close and they get along, and my mom and dad can still work in the same business that we all work in together. So
That's good.
I'm just happy and grateful for everything. Like even if life sucks, I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I'm happy that I can drive here. I'm happy that I have friends, all these things. So everything makes me happy. The small things, the big things. I'm super grateful.
That's amazing. Hey, that's awesome. I love that. And I try to preach that too, be very grateful, because my life's awesome. And I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because my parents and my friends and my family and my coworkers and Andrew and you guys and like everybody. I'm just like, I have best friends, family, like place of just everything. Like I'm so grateful.
Man.
So, okay, my other question is, where'd you get the bracelet from?
Man, so this has been on me since before camp.
Okay.
So camp was June 5th to June 9th, and I think...
Before we left.
Okay, yeah.
For our trip.
Oh, really?
For our Europe trip.
Okay.
And so I was one of the guys that went a day early with a few people to kind of help set up. So we had to drive up there, get there by night, and just set up all the games and the worship crap, like all like the instruments and everything, plug everything in. And so right before we left, Pastor Jackson, the iKids is kindergarten through 5th grade.
Okay.
The pastor of the iKids gave bracelets to everyone that was going to camp, and it's WWJD, and it says, "What would Jesus do?" Which is kind of like a cheesy saying, because it used to be like in memes and all that stuff, but it's like, when you actually take it seriously, it's like when someone gets you mad and you need to be patient. Like, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
If someone's bashing on you for having a bad day, what would Jesus do? If whatever. So this has been on me. It used to be on my left wrist, but then when I started wearing watches, I had to move it to my right.
Yep.
But it's just, this is like a great reminder of just what would Jesus do in any situation that I'm at. And honestly, I expect to wear this for a long time until it breaks apart.
Yeah, I know that. Now, and the reason I asked is because my mom used to wear that like all the time.
Oh, really?
And she never explained what it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
yeah.
And unfortunately, I mean, a lot of people know this already, but my mom passed away like 6 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
man.
19.
I'm sorry.
And a lot of people know that already, but yeah, I obviously, I appreciate you. But I have great stepmom and everything. But like, she was obviously, my mom was the whole reason like I went to church, because she forced me to go, and then I decided I wanted to go, and like I baptized, and then the story goes on. Yeah. But I'm proud of myself because like, I mean, I go to church and no one forces me to, like it's my decision.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, the bracelet kind of meant a lot to me because my mom would always wear those bracelets, and she never told me like we never had like conversations like what it meant. Yeah. And she like would always wear it, and that's why she. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's kind of
full
full circle.
And like, you'll see like Armand. You know Armand?
No.
He's one of the
church.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll see him, but just pay attention a little bit. There's a few people that wear this bracelet still.
Really?
That went to camp. I don't know if Morgan does or anything, but yeah, we got some people that rock this still.
Did you buy it or did you?
No.
They gave it to you.
Yeah, they gave it to me.
I probably gotta get me one of those.
Talk to Pastor Jackson.
Okay.
If you come on Thursday, I don't know if he goes there Thursdays or anything, but talk to someone and see if you can get one of these bracelets.
I'll definitely look into it because I think it means a lot because and the history of my mom for it.
Dude,
I think that's really cool.
I will give you this bracelet.
No,
bro.
you don't.
If you want,
no.
If this means a lot more to you, bro, because your mom, I'll give it to you. I don't care.
No, dude. So, I'll get one.
If you can't get one, you can get one from me, bro.
I could, because it kind of made me like flash from the past because I saw it and I was like, like my mom so I was like, what the heck? So it's kind of cool. We got that backstory. And
dude.
Yeah, dude. That's sick.
Yeah,
so
man. I appreciate it.
I love that. And,
Thank you.
And obviously, it has a lot of meaning to me too. So
yeah,
a lot of meaning to both of us. So that's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was my that was my question I wanted to know. But yeah.
Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I think that was a great episode. I think we got through a lot of different things.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's my second podcast, so.
Oh, dude, and you're the second guest.
Second guest.
What the heck? This is wild.
So.
Yeah, dude. You got anything else to say?
Until next time.
Yeah, guys, we'll talk to you guys next time.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Matt.
I'm Shae.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.